What up? What up? What up? What's going on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm feeling great. Can you tell? Can you tell? I'm feeling great. Yo, it's a Friday. I'm feeling in the mood. I'm in the zone. I'm focused. Oh, let's go. So what's going on, everyone? I'm Shadell, co-host of PagingTheSimpsons. I'm joined by my lovely fiance here.
Lauren, who's inspecting an old lipstick.
And we had to postpone our Friday episode that was going to be going up today and push out for next Friday. That episode, give you guys a quick heads up there, is called Would You Be Successful If You Went to College? Or is it necessary to be successful if you went to college? Something along those lines. And we talk about our sides because we come from two different sides of it, I guess you could say.
Necessary to go to college to be successful.
Yeah. So that's coming out next Friday, since we had to push this to talk about this interesting debacle, you can call it. So I'm going to have you get into this because I'm not too familiar. As you see in the title, we're talking Jaclyn Hill and her whole... I don't even know what you want to call it.
Moldy ass, dirty ass, nasty ass lipstick.
Yeah, I want you to get into it. Tell everyone what's going on. Tell me what's going on. I need information.
Okay. So, let's go back in time. So, I have been a big Jaclyn Hill fan for, I don't know, 5-6 years, somewhere around there, since she was, smaller on the tube.
Yep.
And been an interesting journey. So she...
Why are you so weird?
It's
been an interesting journey. It's like an old friendship where it's like, we had ups and downs,
I'm getting there.
You act like you're so close to this girl.
Okay.
You know her?
No.
You just call her up on the phone and be like,
okay,
hey, what up?
Anyways,
Damn.
Let me tell my story.
Go ahead.
So, as a backstory, she's had multiple collabs with other brands. So she had her Highlight Champagne Pop come out with Becca, and then she had the collab with Becca after that had the Champagne Pop Highlight and other highlights and blushes in a palette. That's one that I have. And then in that launch, there was a 5, I think, pan eyeshadow palette, 5 or 6. And that flopped because that was inconsistent, and they eventually just pulled it all together. So that was the beginning of it. And then she started to become big in Morphe, and Morphe is a drugstore line, while Becca is more of a mid-price point line. If you go in Ulta, it's on the right instead of the left. But with Morphe, she had her initial palette come out with I don't know how many eyeshadows. It's a big eyeshadow palette. And that has rave reviews, so that was fine. And then she came out with the Vault collection. I want to say this was last year with Morphe, and that was 4 different shadow palettes that I think have 10 shadows in each. You can tell I don't own any of these except the highlight palette. That had a lot of controversy around it too, because that was patchy and not pigmented and having all sorts of application issues in that batch. And then what had happened was they pulled those and seemingly were able to produce a lot within a few week time frame and ship them all out again, which in manufacturing timeline standards, that wasn't adding up to a lot of people who actually worked behind the scenes. So that was interesting. And, she's done the whole video of, the poor me and this is what's happened and sorry, but this is why it happened. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to blame this. It's a lot of detours she tries to take.
So what you're saying is that she's had multiple times before this whole thing where things have happened,
right?
And then she puts out a video saying, man, this is what happened, guys. I'm sorry this happened. We're going to fix it. We're going to do this.
Right. And what's very interesting is all these times before have been collabs with other brands. Mm-hmm. So she could easily blame the brand and stuff there. And it's just very interesting because she would always say how involved she is. And she hand selected this and was in the lab for this. But then at the same time, when something would go wrong, it would be oh, I wasn't really that involved, or I didn't know about this, or like this was out of my hands. I only chose this, not this. And it was very interesting. So there's been, she's had a couple launches that were seemingly fine, but then a couple launches that were complete blow ups. And so they didn't know what to expect from her own brand. Then we go back to her brand. She has seemingly been establishing her brand since 2014. So 5 years.
Yep.
And it's very interesting because there's all sorts of theories as to why it took this long. One of them being she did divorce her ex-husband last year, and I think it was the beginning of 2018. And people were saying like she didn't want to do it before the divorce because then it's more proceeds towards him, which I guess makes sense. So if she saw it coming, to like pause it, because then, okay, well, I'm trying to not get ahead of myself. I'm trying to do this in as logical order as possible. No, I guess that makes sense. So she came out with 20 lipsticks, okay? Mm-hmm. We're talking about today. May, I think it was 30th, 31st, she announced and released 20 lipsticks. And it's interesting, and again, with the timeline thing, it's Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, but it's also Jaclyn Cosmetics. And we're all like, that meme with the lady and like the math is adding up, and we're all like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because there's a JH on the lipstick tube. And Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, I think, is the social media handles. But then she branded her packaging, like the boxes, with just Jaclyn. And she says Jaclyn Cosmetics. And like naturally it makes sense if she just wants to be Jaclyn Cosmetics. But the bigger issue here is, now, that is one of the many reasons people think that these lipsticks are old, is because the component has JH on it.
Now, is it possible that they use like old casings or whatever you call those?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. It just seems weird because now she's trying to brand it as Jaclyn Cosmetics more so.
It's so weird.
So that's one of the reasons. Okay, so now we dive into, she releases them. What was very interesting from the get-go is she did not send PR packages out ahead of time, like you normally do.
Wait, so like Jeffree Star, people like that would get these?
Yeah, like all the big influencers, and they would get it a few days before so that they could
Everyone
put their...
does that?
A lot of people do. So you get your review up before consumers can buy it.
So I know they do that with like video games.
No, they do. Yeah, they do this with cosmetics where it's the hopes that influencers get positive reviews up before the product comes out to boost sales. Yeah. And it's very interesting because she didn't do this. No, but she purposely didn't, because her saying was she didn't want to sway the opinions of people buying it.
Get out of here.
I thought it was very interesting though, because
anyone would do that.
Did you already sort of have some doubt that something was going to go wrong? Because I mean, this is your first launch. This is like big for you. This is massive, and like it would be a big thing to send them out ahead of time.
That's why it doesn't make any sense, because if it's your first launch, you want this to do super well, and you have a good product, you send it out to everyone so they can get a review out there and boost sales. So
then it's very interesting, because then you have people who, some people didn't know if they were on PR lists, and so they bought the 20 pack when it came out, and then a few days later received a PR kit as well. And this is where it gets interesting.
What?
Well, because I guess they don't notify you, I guess, if it's the first time, and they just send it. I don't know how PR works. I don't know.
That seems fishy.
But so she sold them in different packs. Okay, she had her individual ones. She had her 3-pack ones. I think 4 variations of those, and then she had the 20 pack, which is all of them. Price points were awful. They were $18 per lipstick. I think you saved some with the trio, and you saved even more with the 20 pack. It was like $2.95 for the 20 pack, which sounds like a lot of money, but if you divvy it out compared to what you pay for like a MAC lipstick or something like that, it's comparable. So people like can't really say anything about that, because it's not actually a bad price if the product's good. Okay.
Wait,
we'll go with that.
Also, as you're saying this, how long do lipsticks typically last?
Anywhere from 1 to 3 years.
So I'm
is
buying
the expiration date.
I'm buying a 20-pack, but if I don't,
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I'm paying I'm paying $300 for a 20-pack. I don't know. You want
one, there's people who authentically do wear a lot of lipstick. There's people who reapply lipstick a lot throughout the day. 2, there's makeup enthusiasts who just really love to collect stuff. And 3, there's makeup artists who would be using a lot of different shades. So there's a lot of different reasons you would get 20 lipsticks. That's not abnormal.
True. I'm thinking about the random girl at her house that's like, I'm gonna drop $300 on a 20-pack, and I don't really lipstick that much.
She could be a collector.
I'm gonna
pick
a collector.
There are people who do that.
She's gonna wear one, and the rest are gonna sit there and mold away or whatever.
No, there's literally people who do stuff like that. They buy stuff and do not touch it.
But why collect it? What is it gonna do?
Because it's
you can't wear it. You can't sell it to someone and be like, "Yo, here you go. Here goes."
I don't know.
Lipstick.
That's not what I do, but I know that that's a thing. Okay. So,
weird people.
All right, so this is where it got interesting. So there were 2 people who put out videos. Shay XO, I believe, was the first one. I want to get this right. Shay XO was the first one that I saw and that kind of blew up. And then the day after was Raw Beauty Christy. Shay is a bit smaller, but she's not small by any means. She has a few 100,000 subscribers. Raw Beauty Christy, I think, has 1 million or something like that. So they have some influence. So what happened was Shay XO had bought the 20-pack, and she originally was going to make the video just doing lip swatches. Was just going into this as a normal video. And then it took a turn.
Wait.
What?
Wait, hold up. I'm kind of curious on this. So she I'm assuming opens the package up, first time opening it up, just doing a review. And then what? She looks at the lipstick and realizes this on camera?
Yes.
Yo, that is wild.
So, both looking at it and feeling it. Because here are the main claims that are happening with a lot of the lipsticks. They are melting and or breaking. So they'll not even by twisting up all the way, because everybody knows not to twist their lipstick up all the way, okay?
I don't. I know not to twist my deodorant up all the way. Because if you do
this, clearly you're letting that out so that it could easily break.
But who does that?
But that's what I'm saying. So to just do it a reasonable amount.
Well, yeah, because your lip's not that big.
Right. So, they're breaking. I guess they're bending and then breaking. Not even if at the base. Sometimes it's weird. So there's that. Okay. There is complaint of grittiness, feeling it's gritty when you're applying. Which are also little beads that people are seeing in there. There's holes, literal holes through the lipstick. Oh, there's markings on this part of the lipstick. There's a weird dark mark, which is definitely not good. There's, what else am I missing? There's weird lines, after the first swatch or the first time you apply it, there's lines that go across the top of the lipstick.
That's some crazy stuff.
And the fuzz. Can't forget the fuzz. There's little hairs or fuzzies that are coming out of the top, or they are embedded into the lipstick. That's very important to remember here, because people are trying to claim it's from gloves that we, touch, but how would a fuzz or hair get embedded into the lipstick, which it would have to be there before it's solid? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what they're...
So when it's wet and then forms, you know what I'm saying? So these are all the complaints that people are generally saying. And then there are some who are saying they're having absolutely no issues, but I'll get to that later. So now Shay XO, she goes on and she starts putting them on her lips, and she starts realizing the grittiness, and she looks at the lines, and she does all this stuff, and she proceeds, this girl, she proceeds to try all of them on.
Oh, God.
Even though she's having issues.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Okay. So.
Wait, so this was before the whole thing came out, type thing? She was doing this?
This was a weekish ago.
So this is like
when it really started 6 days ago. This was really when it started to blow up.
Oh wow.
Because a week. All right, we're on June 13th, so a week ago was like 7th ish. These came out like a week before that.
Okay.
So they were starting to get to people.
Yeah.
And then this was... Oh, it's also worth noting that people are having issues, conveniently, with the expedited shipping. So people would pay like a big amount of money for expedited shipping, and it would get there slower than the people who paid for normal shipping.
That's fishy.
So that's another weird thing that's happening unrelated to the actual physical lipstick. But yeah. So then... Yeah, so she goes on to do all this, and she's basically just saying there's no way she can condone saying this is okay. And then she more so, during the video, goes to defend a girl who got backlash from Jaclyn. And I don't think I can find the tweet right now offhand because I think Jaclyn deleted it, honestly. But the girl was basically saying, oh, what are these weird things on my lipstick? Let me look really fast.
Weird things. It's not the fuzz?
Hold on. I wanna see if I'm quoting it right.
Was it a microscope? Like someone put it under a microscope thing? So I saw that where someone put it under a microscope and it the lipstick looked crazy and it looked like it was a moldy lipstick.
Oh, we're getting there. Oh, we're going down that way. Yeah, I really think she deleted it. Because she came back with some weird apology, but she deleted it. The girl was saying oh, what is this on my lipstick? I'm so disappointed. I just want to know. She was generally just asking what's going on. She wasn't being mean. The girl was I just want to know what's up with the lipstick. Yeah. And Jaclyn kind of came back snappy in the tweet and was so a couple days ago you were basically saying how excited you were for the lipsticks. Okay, and now now all of a sudden something's wrong, or and she would say how she's well, first of all, the lipstick is clearly used. It's not fresh from the factory. And Shay and me too, we're just of course it's used. When you get the lipstick, what you're going to use it. So then, and she's just trying to say all this, that, and the other thing. But she was very snappy in the tweet. And I can't quote it directly because I can't find it. But go to a drama channel. They'll have everything. Yeah. So then Shay was basically sticking up for this girl in the video too, saying how that was completely uncalled for and unprofessional. And that now it's interesting because now Jaclyn is always, you are a business owner when you have a big YouTube channel and collabs and all that stuff, but you have to now, she has to shift into thinking, wow, she's a brand owner now. She has to actually handle things differently. That doesn't make sense
to me. Just so I can be happy about a product coming out, and then once I finally get the product and I don't know what's happening, it's not what I expected, right. And I'm not being mean, but I'm trying to ask what's going on.
The girl was literally innocent about
and
it.
It's what?
But there was backlash because then when Jaclyn tweeted that, of course, the stans went after this girl. Yeah. For no freaking reason. So then that was the thing, is she's saying this is awful. You need to, issue an actual apology for that. You need to actually own up to that. So that was part of what she was saying in her video too. So then what happened was Raw Beauty Christie was the next day. She is the one that started with the microscope. Okay. So she's the one that I was sending you pictures that had amazing pictures, really good picture quality, and she went in. So let me tell you, Shay XO, sorry, and Raw Beauty Christie both did 50-minute videos. These were in depth.
That's what you gotta do.
These were crazy.
The standard is 40-minute videos for any type of issue like this. Come on now.
I know, right? So she wasn't going to try them on her lips. I think, or maybe she tried a couple. Man, I watched these a few days ago. But she basically was yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing this because she's the one now. This is where it gets important. She ordered the 20-pack and then got the PR package. And she was comparing them. And for some reason, overall, the PR seemed a little bit better than the product that would be sold. Yeah. But at the same time, I will say they still were having issues. So the PR was not good
but what
by
if
any means.
Like someone looked at this and like, these ones look better than what we currently have.
Right.
So we're gonna send these out to these select people, and it's smart that these came after because this is what video game companies do also, where they send it to these people like after or before, like pretty much like the view can't go out until after the release date. Like normally if it's a bad game, it's going to come like a day after the game came out or a few days after, just so they can like get those initial sales before any bad reviews come out, knowing that they know the game's bad. So it sounds like it's the same case with this.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But what else? So then she does some swatches. She shows close-ups. She takes pictures. She's the one that has the picture that's circulating around where people keep putting faces on the little lipstick that has the hairs poking out at the top. That's her picture. And then she ended up, like, the second half of the video going in with the microscope. And that was gross.
Well, because when I saw the pictures, it looked like it was like moldy, but I'm not, again, I don't know if it's normal. I'm not sure if she compared it to like other ones.
She did.
So they don't have the same look. She compared it
to a normal lipstick from another brand. And when you put the nice lipstick under the microscope, it's like completely perfect and smooth and nothing's wrong with it. And then you put these under the microscope and there's all sorts of lumps and bumps and colors and holes and hairs. And here's the thing too. People are not just finding like a random fuzz. They are finding like a hair that ends up being like this long.
Like what happened?
Like they end up pulling and pulling and pulling and it's still coming out. And I'm like, the heck is that?
Because my thing is, because we watched a video of Jaclyn Hill that she put out this morning. And
yes, that's more later in the story.
Well, I'm
trying to do this in logical order.
I'm going to jump ahead here.
It's a lot.
And it doesn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, isn't there testing that happens beforehand? Like, she kept pushing this on to, like, mass production. Saying, oh, whatever, we were ready for mass production, this and that. I'm like, don't you test this, like, multiple times? You make sure the product's good. You, like, I'm not sure if this costs her to run tests or whatever the case is with it. But it's just like...
Oh, well, that's part of owning a brand.
What, testing?
Whatever she has to do, that's part of owning a brand. I'm like, it costs her money.
Don't you do multiple tests?
This is costing people's health.
Well, this is also costing her money because supposedly she's refunding people their money back and giving them another box of this. But it's like...
You should.
But it's like, do I really want that box? I don't even want to put this on my face.
At this point, I'd be like, I just want my money back.
Like,
and not for nothing, I wasn't terribly interested in even buying this from the get just because, one... I mean, she's had a kind of shifty past, and I don't know. And two, there's tons of nude lipsticks out there. There's tons of there are ones that are creamy and nice feeling and long lasting and shiny and whatever they are. Like, sure, they're pretty and whatever, but I can, and me being a fair-skinned person, I can easily find a nude that works for me, like a million of them. So I personally would not have a problem finding a nude in a drugstore or wherever I go. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I wasn't interested, so I'm kind of like, woo, missed the boat there. But okay, I have plenty of tweets. So I'm going to reference Marlena Stell again. I talked about her briefly when we were talking about the whole James Charles drama a few weeks ago. She is the owner of Makeup Geek, and she had a YouTube channel that she started. She's one of the OGs from years ago, and she's a successful business owner, brand owner, all that good stuff. Her brand is now in Target. Like, she's cool. She has some really good stuff that's really great prices and still has great quality. And so she has a lot of experience actually in mass production, in the lab, like actually doing this stuff professionally. With her own brand, not collabs. So there's tons of things that she's said, and I'm trying to find the ones that are gonna mean the most for what we're talking about at this moment, because it's been a long, like, this has been going on for like a week, guys. So it's been a lot to take in, and every day there's more like tweets and controversy and all this stuff. Which is actually interesting because Marlena, I'm very excited about it. She's coming out, I think it's November of this year on Netflix with a documentary like behind the scenes on like what actually happens and stuff. Like I'm very excited.
That'd be interesting.
I'm very excited to see that. Let's see, but sorry, she like has a lot of tweets.
I mean, essentially, from what you told me earlier, she was like, because she's done this before, so she's sitting there like saying this isn't normal. Like, I don't even know. Like, you were explaining this where it's like what she's saying isn't correct. Like this Marlena or whoever she is was like disproving Jaclyn.
Like, for example, this one's like from a day ago because I'm having trouble finding the older ones that I'm thinking of. But she said, for all of us who are now inspecting all our lipsticks we own, things to consider. Lipsticks expire anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Fiber lint are not alarming if that is the only sign of quote-unquote defect. Lipstick sweating or oil stains showing, also not alarming. Small holes, not alarming. Black spots, black hairs, long hairs embedded inside, alarming. Fibers growing out of the lipstick with combination of any black spots or marks, alarming. So she's actually like being honest about what to look for if now you're looking in your lipstick collection like I did for like, what do I actually have to throw out? And I'll also throw in here that whenever your makeup has a change in smell, that usually also means that it's expired.
What change in smell?
Yes.
What does it smell like?
It just changes, and sometimes it could be foul, but sometimes it's just a change because like lipsticks, there's lipsticks that smell sweet, for example. Yeah. And if a few years from now it just doesn't, or it starts to smell kind of sour or something, it's time to get rid of it.
That's so interesting.
Just like foundation, anything liquidy can start to smell different. And you just know, if you use it regularly, you know it's going to smell different.
That's interesting.
So, her and Kevin James Bennett, who's an award-winning makeup artist, and he also works behind the scenes a lot in mass production labs, all that stuff. And he is not afraid to call out influencers at all, ever. Who I also referenced in the last James Charles bit. Him and Marlena kind of go hand in hand with shedding light on what's really happening here. Mm-hmm. First of all, fuzzy gloves in mass production apparently is not a thing, period. They're basically saying this never happens. We never see it. It's always like latex or latex-free rubber gloves. Yeah. Just regular gloves. You know, I love how in the video she posted, which, by the way, video should have been posted days ago. She's talking about how she needs time to regroup and all this stuff, but I'll get to why that's a bigger problem.
If you sit back, she was trying to blame the whole thing on gloves, but if you, like, whenever you ever gone to the store and bought a box of gloves or whatever, and it has fuzz on it.
I mean, they do. I'm not doubting they exist. I'm more so doubting they're used in this capacity.
True, but I'm also like, I've never got gloves and been like, this fuzz on this. I mean,
they may be useful in something. Maybe they'd grip better or something. I don't know.
I'm not saying they're not, but I'm saying the likelihood of this seems weird.
So the glove thing, they're kind of debunking because also not for nothing. She talks about how, because we don't want to get our fingerprints on it or something like that. One, they're basically saying you would never touch the actual lipstick once it's in the tube. Mm-hmm. And two, police and all that use like the regular gloves on crime scenes because they don't want their fingerprints to get on stuff. Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Yeah. So if that's what you're worried about, these white gloves are not necessary that you're claiming. There's literally a petition going around.
Show the lab she made these in or something?
Yeah. And then there's also, there's various people who are also like in the Kevin James Bennett like world who are saying, for example, if you have not used your Jaclyn Hill lipsticks, to consider contacting Diane Wilson of ABC 11. She did a story a few years back that exposed Justice Brands, which used to be limited to in the mall, if you didn't know that, as having sold makeup with asbestos, and she won an Emmy for it. She's willing to do a story using unused Jaclyn Hill lipsticks and getting them tested. And so all this is kind of blowing up, And then he's also debunking just different stuff. Hold on, this is a lot, guys.
So I have two things with that.
Sure.
Where one thing in her like apology video, whatever that video was, I was watching this and she's explaining whatever she's explaining, and we're all regular people for the most part. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the facility looks like, what this looks like. I'm like, it'd be nice to have some video of what you're explaining other than like these documents that you're showing on the screen.
Oh, which the documents, by the way, a lot of people were saying, I didn't notice this morning if the video was clearer, but like when people were trying to watch it last night, apparently the video quality was like 360p or something like that. And they're like, oh, conveniently, we can't read the documents.
I don't really trust that because, I mean, depends on when they watched it. YouTube could have been still trying to get the video upscaled. And then secondly, you could push your things to this Diane person at ABC, but how much is Jaclyn going to let them into the warehouse? Like, you can do all the investigation you want, but you're not going to be able to come into wherever I want you to come into unless I want you to. So, I mean,
okay.
It is what it is.
Earlier in the week, Kevin had come up with a theory that maybe the component was the issue, more so for the melting factors. There's different components that you can use for lipsticks. There's like a thinner one, and then she has a thicker one. And so his conspiracies were that Jaclyn Cosmetics already had the custom component manufactured, didn't match a suitable formula to this type of lipstick case, and should have used a slim line, which is the slimmer case. Conspiracy 2 was stability testing was not done accurately or for a long enough period of time. Yep. Conspiracy 3, the lipstick sat in a warehouse for too long and expired, compromising the formula, so they begun to break down. And he said, they should not be melting or crumbling. Someone needs to address what's happening honestly. Then a few days later, he's basically saying these lipsticks are contaminated, pose a possible health hazard, and are not safe to use. There's no way to sugarcoat or shape this narrative. Unidentifiable debris, hair, mold spores, they're clearly contaminated, and they allegedly all come from the same batch. This was what I was going to mention now. Earlier in the podcast, I was saying how it could be the component or something like that. And the problem people are having is every single thing. Oh no, this is what it relates to. Some people are having lipsticks that are supposedly fine, that are perfect and have no issues. The problem here is every single lipstick that has gone out supposedly has the same batch code, which means these are all from the same exact batch, which means if your lipstick seemingly is okay, it still might not be. And you still might be posing a health hazard to yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So just to kind of keep that in mind. So he's come out with truths. Marlene has come out with truths. Follow them on Twitter and Instagram if you want to see all that in depth, because they are constantly posting about this. And I trust them completely because they have been in this world for years. Mm-hmm. And, I think part of it too, she may have been in this world like dipping her toes in, but she was collabing with other brands. She's never done it in a scale like this where she's completely responsible and has complete control in her own brand. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe there were a lot of big oopsies here, but I think this went too far at the end of the day, because now what's been happening is people are showing us pictures while some of them are fake. And I think that hurts everybody by doing that, because people are taking fake images from Google and pretending it's their lips. Yeah. And that's awful for the people who actually experience it. Mm-hmm. There's been countless tweets and pictures of people saying, after I put this on, my lips swelled, I got a rash, I got a reaction, I got a cold sore, I have to be on antibiotics, I'm in hives. Like, there's a person's arm even. They just swatched it on their arm, and they said they're not a particularly sensitive person, and it's just red hives. And like they had to be on antibiotics. And I'm like, this is where it went too far. I mean, if you come out with a brand and you have a couple little things that are kind of weird or not exactly right. Say like your shades are kind of a little wonky, or, you know, the component is not the strongest or something like that. Cool. We get you're kind of adjusting. But one, you claim you worked 5 years on this to get it perfect. And now it's the complete opposite. And two, this is not a little oopsie. This is causing actual health hazards to people. At the end of the day, this needs to be completely recalled. Everything needs to be destroyed, refunded, and move on.
I don't mean to be rude or insensitive at all, but a part of me is like, I slightly don't believe these people. And if they should file a lawsuit if they really are about it.
And that's the interesting part is Shay XO, if we go back to her.
Because
real quick,
that's what I was thinking when you said someone like did swatches on their arm in a video. I'm like, I wouldn't put this on my body at all. Like, I don't
even want to breathe it. To be completely honest, if something has mold like that, I don't want to breathe it in. I've worked so hard to try and get my asthma under control and everything. I wouldn't even want to breathe it. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally wouldn't want it around me.
I don't get it.
Why can't I find her?
Like, I'm so curious to know about like the whole like testing phase. Like, what happened there? Because I feel like this would have been like handled.
That's the thing, and a lot of people are saying there was no quality control, and that's the problem.
Or like do a mass like test or check if this is the first batch, check the batches, like check a few of these boxes before they go out. Like, I don't. And it sounded like in the video she said like she was rushed. I think, like you said, they made them like a little bit before.
Oh, well, that's the next thing is that they're disproving. There's no way they can make like 500,000 or whatever of these things in under a month.
Oh, yeah, true. That's a lot.
So her even claiming that is false. Oh, and let's talk about the video too. How the little document that shows that they were like done was April of 2017. But let's just ignore that oopsie. That you're claiming these are brand stinking new. But they're already over 2 years old, indicating there. Like,
my next question is this just going to be like a little blimp on like, I guess, the Jaclyn Hill brand?
And that's what's really annoying. Some people are saying this is going to destroy her forever.
I don't think so.
And some people are, optimistic or whatever. I don't think it's going to destroy her forever. It never does.
A lot of things don't destroy people these days.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of people bounce back and a lot of people believe everybody's excuses and still continue like to support these people no matter what they do wrong.
Yep.
Like these stands, it's like these people are human, but they could do nothing wrong in your eyes. And it's like, I don't get that. I've never been that way towards a person, whether like it's a big like pop star or movie, actor or whatever. Like, we're all people at the end of the day, and we could be awful.
A person that they never met, so.
Huh?
A person that they never met, most likely.
That too is like, I'm like, this person doesn't affect my life literally whatsoever until, it's a health hazard, but that's besides the point. This is really annoying. My stuff is not loading.
Now it's Twitter's. That's probably down.
I know. I saw what Instagram was down before.
Yep. Trying to.
Oh, but I do have this screenshot saved. September 24th, 2017. Jaclyn tweeted, "All right, 30 minutes before I land, Q&A time. Ask me anything." Someone said, "Will your brand still be launching this year?" She said, 50-50, it's not about me at this point. My lipsticks are at the lab and ready to go. There is a lot that goes into starting a brand. September 24th, 2017. In the lab, ready to go. Okay. Just saying. Like,
I don't know.
There's all this evidence pointing to these are at least 2 years old. I don't think they're 5 years old, but they're at least 2 years old. Somewhere like 2 to 3, maybe, Shay was saying how, because people were like, coming at her for some reason, but she said, "Listen, I've said several times now, if you had an actually physical reaction, by all means, you have every right to pursue this legally. I didn't, so I just want a refund. I'm in no way telling anyone how to handle their situation." She's basically, and her and other people are saying, they're like, you literally could pursue this legally if you've had an actual physical reaction. And I think they should. If you've gone to the hospital, some people are saying they've gone to the ER and all this. Like, I ain't paying that bill.
Well, Oh, yeah.
Because that's going to be hefty. You know how the ER is.
Yeah.
So, this lipstick should not be doing that to you. Sure, at the end of the day, there's freak reactions. There's people who are really, really, really sensitive. But these people usually know, they find out, they know what they're allergic or sensitive to. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, like I always ask when I'm doing makeup on people, do you have any sensitivities or allergies? I double check for latex because there's latex in eyelash glue. And a lot of times they don't realize that they should tell me latex. I
want to think about that.
Right. So I double check. And then I always have latex-free glue on me. There's like one person the other day, they said they were allergic to coconut. And that is something that I actually have to know because there are products that have coconut oil or coconut extract in it. Mm-hmm. So, these are those things that like if you have a reaction, you would know already and you would avoid it. Man, so this overall that it's happening to so many people is not normal.
Real quick, to go off topic there. That's kind of interesting that you say that because I'm like, if they go to like a cheaper makeup artist, I'm like, what happens then if they're not ready for that? They don't know what to do. They're like, oh no, they just brush you off and say, oh no, this doesn't have it. I'm like, that's horrible.
I mean, that's none of my business though. That's horrible. we just want to go to $25 makeup artists.
Yep.
But I'll leave that be.
Yeah,
I
literally
had to tell someone yesterday. She was a client of mine a couple years ago, and she had on her Instagram stories that she needs a makeup artist, but like a budget-friendly makeup artist for wedding season because she just had a baby and all this stuff. And I was messaging her, and I'm like, hey, and like, I don't know what you mean by like budget-friendly though, haha, and all that. And she literally said $30. She's like, I know you wouldn't do it for $30, so that's why I didn't ask you. And I literally told her, I'm like, okay, so I'm telling you this because I care about you. Just be careful going to someone who's going to charge you $30 because one, it just may not look how you want, but two, they may not be sanitary.
Yeah, they may
straight
not know
up.
What they're doing
like
with that.
I worry about. I'm huge on sanitization in my kit and everything. So this whole thing got me grossed out. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything I was leaving out. Let me look at my notes real quick.
I think we hit everything. I don't know. Spending $300 on lipstick.
A couple little things, just little details along the way that have popped up over the last week. I mostly went in order. I tried. Patrick Starr, who is a big influencer as well, surprisingly came out on his Instagram stories and like was honest about it and was like, this ain't right. Like, do not use these, like that whole thing, which was surprising because a lot of the big ones are saying hush hush about this. They're not getting in it at all.
Well, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I'm like, okay, good. Be the bigger person. Another thing that was interesting is on the back of the box and the component, or on the back of the box of a Morphe product, and then her stuff has the same address. But I don't think this is as weird as people are making it out to be. I don't think it's the fact that Morphe is distributing or making this stuff. They may just use the same warehouse.
Place. Yeah.
But then people are like, oh, she's still associating herself with Morphe and all this stuff, and maybe that's why it's lacking in quality. Why are you looking at their dress? And
that's my first issue.
People are digging right now. I mean, they kind of have a right to because this whole thing was gross and blew up. But
like, save that for the lawyers if you really care. Like, what?
And another thing. So, another thing Shay had said in her video, there was this whole thing. She has a shade called Badass, okay? Which now is one word, and the S's are dollar signs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Z's.
No.
Oh, no.
No, the dollar signs are tacky enough.
Okay.
This lipstick, and multiple people have seen this lipstick is the only one that doesn't have a sticker on the bottom. And on her Instagram, she says, I think she says badass. Let me see if I'm getting this right. Badass, just one word, but normal with the normal S's. But then in her video, when she had her launch, she's talking about, she has this whole weird story about how she used to say badass, and she said it this way in two words, and it's this whole weird thing. If you want more detail, go to Shay's video because she explains it better. But it's kind of weird how this was like one that changed so many times or something and now is not. Like, why would the sticker not be there on the final product? And the box only says badass with the regular S's. And like, it's weird. It's weird. And multiple people have noticed that. Like, why is this shade like the one that's different and not complete? I mean, if you're launching something, it's going to be complete. Yeah. I just don't get it. I have to, I really hope I find this really quickly. People have been retweeting. She had done Instagram stories, swatching all the lipsticks on her lips, to like show you real swatches.
Jaclyn?
Yeah. Okay. Before they came out, like a few days before. And, okay. I literally will have to play this on the podcast. There's this shade called As If that she is swatching, and you have to listen closely, and I'll help you out here in a second.
All right, let's just keep it moving. Since we just did Nude AF, let's do As If, because this is equally as nude, but it is a, oh my gosh, what is on there? It is a, sorry, this is my personal collection I'm using right now, a pink.
Did I get it in the microphone enough?
I don't know, because you didn't aim it at the mic.
Let me try again. Sorry, guys. I don't usually do this.
Oh, God.
All right, let's just keep it moving. Since we just did Nude AF, let's do As If, because this is equally as nude, but it is a, oh my gosh, what is on there? It is a, sorry, this is my personal collection I'm using right now.
Did you catch that?
See, the second time, I didn't know what you were talking about. Then that one, I'm like, okay.
Watch her.
I see.
Oh my gosh, what is on there?
Wait,
and we can't really see, but that's kind of interesting. She
blocks it out with the
and
S.
she tries to say it like, oh, this is my personal collection. Okay. But I find it very I didn't catch that when I first, because I watched this whole Instagram story when it first came out because I wanted to see the swatches. And of course, no one's thinking anything of it at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And now you just look back and you're like, whoa, uh-oh.
What is this? So she saw it like that, and maybe to her, she was like, oh, this is normal or something. I don't freaking know. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get what's happening. Women are crazy spending $20 or, 20 pieces of lipstick for $300.
It's really not, like I said, it's not a bad
send that $300 to
price.
me and make me have a great life. That's all I want.
This just whole thing.
What?
Oh. And how she, quote in her video, said, every ingredient in the lipstick is new. And one of the drama channels tweeted, oh, new hair. Love that for us.
Love that for us. What?
As in like a joke, like, great, thanks for like the little hair. Oh, and I love how in the video she talks about how every ingredient is FDA approved. That's great. But once you put them all together, something went wrong. That's what matters here. It doesn't matter that every individual ingredient is FDA approved. Mm-hmm. Like this whole thing. You look like you're tapping out. You're like you're done with this topic.
Yeah, because I would never spend that much on some lipstick. $18 for one lipstick. Oh my god.
Okay, but when I'm telling you, coming from my world, that's pretty average. That's not average for like a mid-range price. Okay, I mean, drugstore is like 10 and under. Mid-range is, around there to like 30, and then upper is like above that. If I want
colored lips, I'll go find some candy that's going to dye my lips a certain color.
Ring pop.
Exactly. I'll just smear it all on there, put it on there for a little bit, let it soak.
By the way, guys, for the people that are watching the YouTube video, so I went and I looked at my old lipsticks because there are some that are like years old that I really need to get rid of. And I found not only as a whole, my Maybelline lipsticks, like as a whole, I need to get rid of. They're just kind of funky right now. This lipstick has like these weird growths on it, like little bumps. I'll have to go up to the thing to show.
Yeah, good luck with this one. Good luck with this one here. Yeah, they could probably see that. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, focused. Yeah. Yeah. If you're listening to the audio version, check the podcast, or on the video version of the podcast, you'll be able to see what she's showing here. Where it shows like her lipsticks that are old that look similar to what Jaclyn Hill has happening with hers.
And I'll tell you that this lipstick honestly doesn't even look as bad as what's going on with hers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look moldy. It doesn't have like black spots or like they are sweating some, which is like not a good thing. And then they have like those weird bumps. But I'll tell you, I have some lipsticks that are a couple years old at least, and they're still kicking perfectly fine. So the fact that something has gone so terribly wrong here and they're supposedly brand new, that thing's adding up. Mm-hmm. What needs to happen is this needs to be recalled, refunded, destroyed, and that's it. I stand by that. This is a health hazard. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. Like, I get that. It's embarrassing for her, but own up to it at the end of the day. Again, you are a big brand owner now. You got a lot of big girl things to do, and this is one of them. You can't just make a video excusing everything and claiming that everything's perfect when clearly... Why would so many people lie about this? You know what I'm saying? It's not like one or two people are like trying to blow up something. No, this is a big issue. So just do it. I mean, like literally someone was tweeting earlier how she has an autoimmune disease, cancer, is going through chemo and something else right now. And she's literally, like she said, she's so happy that when her package arrived, she wasn't home because she's literally terrified to even be near it. Like she is so immunocompromised that's terrifying. Yeah. That's sad for a lipstick. So do like you do with food and cars and all that stuff. Recall it. That's it. I'm done.
I've been done. Been done.
A lot of people been done now. This is a lot. This is the last straw for a lot of people, and I don't blame them. This kind of is for me too. Like
I mean, well, that's why you didn't buy it, because you're like, let's see how this plays out. Everything else.
I mean, yeah, and plus I just really wasn't interested like that.
Yeah.
From the get, like I just was like,
also, because
it's all right.
You really wear lipstick, so yeah. When do you really wear lipstick?
I know. I want to get back into it. I was thinking that today with new lipsticks because I clearly need some new ones. But yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, did you see the thing I sent you?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's so funny. I'll try to play it on the mic.
Play it on the mic the correct way.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Oh, I think I sent it to you in text.
Oh God. Guys, coming up on this hour.
Here it is. Okay.
Thanks for rocking with us.
Oh yeah, you ignored it. What the heck?
Yeah, I ignored a lot
it says
of things.
when Thanks. It says when she asks you for a kiss but she's wearing a Jaclyn Hill lipstick.
Oh, fuck that.
Okay.
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Okay.
They're like, ew.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that would totally be you. You'd be like, get away from me right now.
I mean, if I didn't know what it was, but in general, I'd just be like, no, don't kiss me because I don't want that.
Yeah, in general, you're not a lipstick person.
Pretty much. I mean, what? What guy?
Just wait till that wedding day.
But what guy other than the freaking wedding day would want you to kiss them on the lips with your lipstick so I could have some freaking weird...
You just said it on the wedding day. Well, on the wedding day, it's
other
happening.
than the wedding day.
Oh, well.
Like, what? I don't want you freaking kissing me on my date day so I can have some red lips walking around. Like, dog,
so
check
cute.
that guy. He got some red lips on.
Yeah, look at you. So cute.
Yeah, look at that sexy butt.
Cute.
All right. I think it's time to wrap this one up. It's a long one. We gave you guys an hour talking about
You're welcome.
Jaclyn debacle here.
Guys, let's hope it's almost over. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we have an update for you Tuesday or something. Because I'm sure over the next few days, more stuff will happen.
To be determined. On that note, you down to wrap it up?
Yep.
All right, guys. As always, you know what it is. I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely fiance,
The severely annoyed and disgusted Lauren. Make sure to check us out on social media.
Okay.
Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. Email us at PagingTheSimpsons@gmail.com if you want to be included in the podcast or have any questions.
Check all our social media links in the description. Send us your questions, any topics you want us to talk about, any relationship advice you want to give that's happening. Hit us all in the social media, email, link, all that stuff in the description of this podcast and YouTube video if you're watching it there. And for that, it is a wrap. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Peace.